Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. Happy Valentine's. How cool is this? Yes, I do have on red, so I wish for everyone out there a happy Valentine's. Today is the day, and for all you guys, if you haven't gotten anything for your special person in life, then it's time you do so. And I'm talking to myself as well. Good morning. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Kim will take your call. Put you in a queue at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546, and I will put you on the air. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sign up to be an O Rewards member today and start earning instantly. O Reward members earn $5 back for every $150 you spend. It's fast, easy, and free, and only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. See your local store for details. And I'm proud to say this segment of Bobby Likis is brought to you by K&N, the original performance air filter of NASCAR. And to that end, you're going to love this, Terry Sabiston is going to be joining us from Daytona live. The Daytona International Speedway is alive and running. And for all you folks that are in New York and in the upper east and northeast where we have old storms, sit back and ride along with us this hour here on Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you tuned in this morning. We're going to come back with Terry, get an update from the Daytona track, and take your call to 888 Car Clinic. Likis, you're going to love us. Okay, folks, let's take a question from the Car Clinic inbox from John in Tennessee.
Bobby, I drive a hybrid, and I'm conscientious about servicing and maintenance to keep it in top shape. My friend talks about K&N products and says I should try them. He's a hot rod kind of guy, but I'm more of a green type person. That's why I drive a hybrid. What K&N products would make sense for me?
John, for the performance and the green guy in you, K&N air filters have you covered. Most K&N air filters are washable lifetime air filters, so K&N filters can stay out of the landfills. And unlike paper air filters, which are made from trees that take years to grow to maturity, K&N air filters are made from cotton, a quickly renewing resource. And being green doesn't sacrifice performance. K&N air filters are engineered to deliver high airflow for quicker acceleration up hills and on freeway entries, and for a maximized driving experience. For the K&N air filter just right for your hybrid, drive to knfilters.com. This Tire Maintenance Minute is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible with a grabber line of light truck tires born from competition. Thoughts of nitrogen probably take you back to high school chemistry. But did you know nitrogen-filled tires offer benefits their air-filled counterparts can't? Nitrogen-filled tires maintain a more constant pressure, as pure nitrogen is not as affected by ambient air temperature swings as is the mixed gas air we usually pump in tires. Constant pressure means better handling, less tire wear, and increased fuel economy. Additionally, since nitrogen suspends less moisture, the internally exposed part of your wheel is less susceptible to corrosion. Drawbacks? Not every repair shop has nitrogen. Another consideration is price. While air is free, nitrogen typically costs between $3 and $10 per tire. Drive to GeneralTire.com to learn more about the Grabber line of light truck tires. Anywhere is possible with Grabber. And for more details, visit GeneralTire.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another great place to use Visa.
They giggle and jiggle, they jump and they sing, they poke and they play with most wondrous things. And that's just the parents. At Creative Kid Stuff in Minneapolis, you'll find the most enchanting toys and games for kids of all ages. But if you want to bring home their innovative playthings, you better bring your Visa card. Because at Creative Kid Stuff, you can let your child's imagination run wild, but you can't use American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grown. Now you're here, your aroma helps me wake, and the day is mine to take. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, I want to welcome you to today's broadcast and ride along with us this hour. If you're having a great day, or if you'd like to have a great day, just start your Saturdays right here from the center of the automotive universe, Bobby Likis Car Clinic, and I will take you on a road trip. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to ease our way down to, over to the east coast of Florida, to Daytona Beach, where there's a lot going on. And Terry Saveston is with us, who is the sports director for WNDB 1150 AM. Terry, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Glad to be here, Bobby, and excited to be right here with you as I was with Brett Bodine about 20 minutes ago.
Well, so what's the weather like? How fast are the cars going?
The weather is beautiful, clear blue skies. There's not a cloud in the sky. And with that, we're probably pushing about 55 degrees right now. So the temperature's a little cool. Not going to be a hot day here at Daytona, except out on the racetrack. And it's going to be a little cool tonight for the Sprint Unlimited. But once again, the heat will be out on the racetrack. Exciting day here at Daytona International Speedway. Right now, I'm actually standing on pit road. And once again, I started our broadcast earlier this week here from Daytona International Speedway from Victory Lane. And it's the same situation here. I was by myself in Victory Lane, and I'm on pit road by myself right now.
That's amazing. So, Terry, how does the cold weather affect? I know the track has to be cold, so doesn't that affect the temperature of the tires? Normally, tires run a couple of 100 degrees. How does that affect the handling of the car and the speeds?
Well, according to practice I saw yesterday, these cars are handling great. Kurt Busch topped the 200-mile-an-hour speed yesterday. I think he was only one over 200 miles an hour in practice, but they were running 2 and 3 wide in practice in a 16-car pack yesterday evening. So they are ready to go racing, and right now the sprint cars are, you can hear in the background, that's the Cup Garage. They're getting ready for qualifying practice for the Daytona 500 coming up here in about 20 minutes or so on Daytona International Speedway. So,
that's amazing.
The temperature has affected in some ways, and one of the ways they say is it'll make the motors run better, but also the air is denser, so there's a play back and forth whether they'll actually go faster or not. The other factor here is we've got a pretty stiff breeze, and that's going to be an impact, I think.
I agree. I want to talk about young and old. I understand that Austin Wayne Self is the youngest driver to ever have driven over a 1-mile track and is going to be in the race today. And last year he was too young for ARCA to let him drive. So I find that very interesting. And just the opposite, Mark Thompson, I understand, is the oldest pole sitter at 63 in the Daytona International Speedway history. So we've got young and old on the track today.
Yeah, we do. And I got to talk to Austin yesterday, and he actually had super speedway experience. He was old enough to run at Talladega this last year. So he has one super speedway under his belt, but not Daytona. So this is his first time at Daytona, and he's got a pretty good teammate there with Mark Manson, and that's that team there is. To have a 2-car team in an ARCA series, that's a big help because you need all the help you can get out here. And then Mark Thompson, known him for years, great driver. I think his first ARCA race was around 91, so that gives you an idea. He's been around here for a while. He knows his way around. He's a great driver, and it's great to see him on the pole. And this was a new qualifying where they qualified in groups. They sent 7 cars out at a time, and you had 5 minutes to get your best time in, and then that set the field. So a new way to qualify, and Mark Thompson, the old guy, took advantage of that.
So how many laps on the 7? When you have 7 cars at one time on the track, how many laps do they allow?
They got that time, how many laps they ever want to go. If they want to go out and run 1 lap, they want to run the whole thing. It's their choice. They just got a group time. And that's what was talking to Austin. He said it was weird because he figured everybody would just jump out and head out off pit road, and he said nobody wanted to go. And so they sat there and they wasted a lot of time that he felt that he needed to be on the track getting some practice and qualifying in. And nobody ever really hooked up and got together, and they didn't get the speed they wanted in qualifying. I think he ended up 28th, but he said they've got the fast cars, they've got some rockets, so they're going to be in good shape.
And I think Mark Thompson ran 187. I had it written down somewhere. 187.
I got it right here. Let's see. Yep, 187.336. 48.042 seconds around this track. So that's falling pretty good. 48 seconds for 2.5 miles.
Well, really? Yeah, really. And, of course, you've been around the track. You and I have been around the track together, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we have, and I just finished a ride along this morning with Brett Bodine in the new Toyota Pace Car. Some new things in the Pace Car. There's actually a roll cage that comes up over the back of the front seat. Just in case it gets a little higher than your head, and also 5-point harnesses that are attached to that roll cage to securing the car. And they're going to require Brett to have on a fire suit and a helmet during the race. So that's some new changes there in the Pace Car. But what a fun time. And Brett's he's a riot, and he makes it seem so easy, and he's just chatting away. And we're going down into turn 1 and 2, and I can barely, I'm having problems catching my breath from the G-force, and he's just nonchalantly chatting, about the new grandstands. But it was a lot of fun. He took us into turn 3 and 4 really hard, and that's just so much fun taking a ride. What a great way to start a day here at Daytona National Speedway, riding around with Brett Bodine in the Toyota Pace Car.
Well, yeah, and Terry, when we rode around, I'll never forget it. We took out, and folks, we were on the main pit road, and we accelerate out of the pit, and you figure, well, it's going to take a while to get up to speed. We're in turn 1 and coming out of turn 2, and we're running 100+ miles per hour, and we were not in a race car, although it was a pretty fast automobile, a little pace car there. But what an exciting time that is. I can only imagine what it's like to run 200 miles an hour side by side, 8 inches apart from cars, and then turn left. How do you go 200 miles an hour and make a left-hand turn?
As Brett Bodine says, you hope that you know everybody out there and they're your best friends, because there's a lot of trust.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have a great day. What time did you get started this morning, and how late did you work last night, Terry?
Last night I went till about the final practice was over at 8. I was supposed to make it out to Volusia Speedway Park to dirt track racing, but then I had this early this morning, so I knew I better not. I got here about 9 o'clock this morning, and I probably won't get home till 1 o'clock tonight. But hey, that's Daytona National Speedway. This is Speed Week. This is just the first of it. We got another 10 days, 8 days. This isn't going to stop till actually when I go to the Champions Breakfast on Monday morning after the 500.
It sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of work. One final question. Daytona Rising, how's the project going?
It's about half done. From the sprint tower, just a little past it, all the way down to turn 1, it's finished. It is open for this race. 40,000 brand new seats. You got to have tickets to get into those seats. They're not going to let just everybody come in. They are going to do some open houses after the race where if you don't have a ticket for that section, you can get into that grandstand area, the grandstands, look around. It's beautiful. I've been up there to the top of it. You can see, halfway across the state of Florida, I'm sure, from way up there. It's beautiful, but a great view of the track. And those are going to be once they get this done, it'll be a premier stadium. But also what's under, you don't have to go upstairs. There's escalators, elevators, and that gets you up to those about 13, 14-story high seats.
Well, Terry, thank you so much for joining us. I'll let you get back to the track and enjoy your afternoon. Terry Sebastian, and Sebastian. I always get your name. I called you for years, folks, and I apologize, Terry. Sebastian. I called you Sebastian, but it's Sebastian. And so...
It is Sebastian.
Yeah.
But, Bobby, you can call me anything you like as long as it's not late for dinner.
You are so cool. Hey, thank you so much, Terry, and best to Mike Multane and all the folks there at WNDB and all of our great listeners for years and years and years in Daytona Beach and Ormond and the surrounding area that tunes into WNDB and 93.5 FM. Our charter station for Car Clinic Network. Thanks to Mark Bernier, by the way.
Yep. First broadcast ever of racing on 95.7 FM right now happening here at Speed Week.
Here we go.
Our new FM station. We're live there. We're bringing that action to the track. Bobby, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Terry. Well, there you have it, folks. It just doesn't get any better than that. And I know that we have Steve and Jerry on the line. I want to come to you after the break. And folks, what a great day this is for racing. And if you're living in cold weather where you have snow, I think you might want to snuggle up. I know that the race is going to be aired on television. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in to Bobby Likis Car Clinic every Saturday. I remind you, Saturdays from 10 till noon Eastern Time right here. And for those of you who have, maybe you're not in your own hometown where our FM or AM stations are broadcasting our Car Clinic program, then you can go to watchbobbylive.com. And for those of you who are on Watch Bobby Live, I'll wave at you. Social media, please go to facebook.com/Bobby Likis. That's Likis and Likis like us, you'll love us. Also on twitter.com/Bobby Likis, Pinterest.com, same, and also new at Bobby Likis on Instagram. All of the social media aspects of our program are there, and iTunes, and you can podcast. We podcast so that you can download this program automatically on your phone, any phone, thanks to Celicast, and just tune back in. If you missed a question or missed an answer specifically and you want to rewind, you can do that too, because we're coming to you in 100% true HD, high definition, ad-free, courtesy of Google on YouTube. Go to YouTube and like us on YouTube. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk with Jerry and then Steve and take your call at 888 Car Clinic.
O'Reilly.
Get more mileage from your tax refund at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If you've been delaying those minor repairs, go to O'ReillyAuto.com for a coupon worth $15 off a $75 purchase. Spend part of your tax refund on your vehicle now and avoid costly repairs down the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See offer for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Okay, folks, time to go to our Car Clinic inbox. Doug in Chicago writes, Dear Bobby, my vehicle's engine isn't warming up as it should, so I took it to a mechanic. He suggested a new thermostat and recommended a Stant Superstat. It's a little more money. Is it worth it? Absolutely, Doug. Your vehicle's thermostat plays a big role in maintaining a proper air-to-fuel ratio, which in turn maximizes fuel economy and keeps tailpipe emissions in check. Stant's Superstat thermostat is American-made with a larger heat motor for better temperature control, heavy-duty springs that help return the thermostat to a closed position to prevent cold running, and a heavier gauge stainless steel housing. Just hold one. You can actually feel the difference. Stant's Superstat is a premium-grade thermostat that performs better and lasts longer. And Superstat thermostats come with a lifetime limited warranty. So for me, it's definitely worth the money. For all the details, visit Stant.com. That's Stant.com.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Oh, Steve, it's so romantic camping at night.
Yeah. Hey, you want a mint?
I didn't know Trident makes mints. What was that?
Just a rabbit or squirrel.
No, it's a bear.
I see it.
Do something. It's getting closer.
Wow!
Aw, look, he likes our breath.
Trident introduces new Trident Advantage Mints, the great-tasting sugarless mint that strengthens teeth and helps reduce the risk of tooth decay.
Can you get the bear to stop licking my mouth?
New Trident Advantage Mints, the good for your teeth mint.
Good day, ladies.
Hi.
I'm Willie Works, here to talk to you about how to get rid of those tough, embedded odors in the laundry.
You know what I've been doing?
What?
I've been soaking some of my husband's T-shirts in a baking soda solution.
Oh.
Now that seems to help.
Sometimes I boil them in vinegar.
Oh.
Yeah, that could help.
Oh, ladies, there's an easier way.
Really?
Febreze for the wash.
Oh.
Just add a capful with your detergent and odors disappear.
Really? One wash is all it takes?
Yup, Febreze for the wash. One cap, one wash.
And say goodbye to odors.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you for tuning in to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. We're going to take a call from Steve in Nebraska, and then we're going to go to Jerry, and I'll take your calls at 888-227-2546. Steve, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Bobby, I've got a new Lincoln MKC, and it's got that new 2.3-liter four-cylinder Eco-Turbo that puts out 285 horsepower and 305 pounds-feet of torque from a four-cylinder, which is really putting power out there.
Yes.
And those ratings are with 93 octane gas. And I was just wondering, two questions. First of all, it says it can use regular gas, the 87 octane.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it going to hurt my engine at all by using that much lower octane? I know with the computers in the cars, they can delay the timing and stuff, and so that won't ping with that. But could that possibly long-term, because I keep my cars for about 12 years usually, could that harm the engine? And then the other question is, how much is it going to hurt the horsepower?
Well, let's talk about the last question first, because that's near and dear to my heart. The answer with regard to horsepower, if you and I were on a drag strip, a racetrack, and we had a start-stop time for a quarter mile, which depended totally on the performance of the engine, the torque and the horsepower of the engine. Torque is the ability to twist the wheels, and is off of that EcoBoost engine is going to come on at low RPMs, and so torque is where gas mileage comes in, and that's that seat of the pants pull away. And then horsepower is the most power the engine can make at the highest RPM, and those are all performance items that are measured on an engine dynamometer. Having said that, what Ford has done is nothing short of fantastic, to say the least. It's not rocket science. It's just taking advantage of today's technology and advantage of today's high-octane fuels. To that end, with the 93 octane, that engine will make that kind of horsepower and torque that you talked about, because it does have that turbocharger. Now, if you put regular fuel, we had two cars, or take the same car, and you put premium fuel, then the computer will extract all of the power that is available to be made out of that engine, because it has the octane in the fuel that allows it to make power. And as far back as the early 1900s, octane enhancement in fuels it's been essential, because that's how you get power to stop that pinging, which you call, which is detonation. And there are two different. There are two different types of noise and damage that engines can occur. Pre-ignition is different from detonation. Detonation or pinging will not damage an engine. I mean, all engines ping, and there are ping sensors, and your MKC has the ping sensor. So the power cannot be delivered with regular fuel that can be delivered with the higher octane, because the engine will detune. When it hears a ping, it will detune and retard the timing. And Steve, to that end, even a regular Ford EcoBoost engine, let's say that you slow to make a turn, or you slow to come to a red light, and all of a sudden the light changes, you haven't fully come to a stop yet. So the transmission hasn't fully downshifted in the first gear. All of a sudden the light changes and goes green, and you look and you're safe, and so you accelerate. In that length of time, that engine possibly could be what we call lugged, because it's under a lull, because you didn't stop it, so it's not in first gear. So what will happen is that engine will, under that second gear or perhaps even third gear high load condition, retard the timing, even with premium fuel, as much as, and get this, I mean, this is unheard of, 30 degrees after top dead center. That's with premium fuel. So you can imagine what would happen if you use the lower octane. Now, performance-wise, you're going to lose performance, but only in racing. From day-to-day driving, that vehicle will run just as well on regular fuel, and that's why Ford Motor Company has authorized that. And so you can, without any worries, you can use the 87 octane. Were it my car, and I don't know if it's available in Nebraska where you live, were it my car, I would use E15, which is 15% ethanol and 85% gasoline. Why? Because ethanol octane rating is 113. So what gas makers do, what the oil companies do, they will take an 84 octane, they will inject 10% of ethanol at 113 octane, and voila, you've got 87 octane at the pump. Whereas if you buy E15, which will actually save you even more money, because it's, I think, cheaper than E10, if your area sells that and produces that E15, and your engine will run better on 88 octane for all the reasons mentioned beforehand, and at a lower price. So that would be my choice if I owned your car. Any questions?
No, 'cause they used to have 89 octane was the standard E10 here, and they've changed it back about 6 months ago to where they used lower octane regular to mix the E10 with it. Now it's down to 87. That's what I used to always run in my cars was the 89 octane.
And I would
E10.
agree with that. Yes, I would agree with that. The challenge with the 87, there's no challenge with the 87 except that there's more profit. And because for the oil companies, because it's less expensive to make 84 octane and put 10% ethanol to make it 87 than it is to make 87 straight gasoline.
Right.
So
the price difference made it
absolutely.
It was exactly 10 cents cheaper before for ethanol. Now it's 20 cents, so they can. It looks good at the gas stations. I've got cheaper gas than the guy across the street. Of course, it's lower octane.
I hear you. So you're in good shape. Thanks for your call and thanks for your confidence in me. I appreciate you, and have a great Saturday afternoon.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you. Steve from Nebraska. Let's go to Jerry. Jerry in Florida. Jerry, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding.
Thank you, Bob. Hey, I got a 2000 Mercury Grand Marquis.
Okay.
I got 126,000 miles on it. I was just wondering, would it be any benefit to change from regular oil to synthetic oil at this stage of time?
Well,
there's about maybe a quart about every 3,000 miles or something like that.
A 2000 Grand Marquis, that module engine that Ford built has two challenges that have nothing to do with synthetic oil. But you've already mentioned one. It uses a little bit of oil. The rings in that pistons in that engine tend to stick, and they get carboned over. And it's not, I don't know whether it's the design of the engine or it's the driver of the vehicle, but I know that historically, and this is more evident with Lincolns than it has been with Mercury's, and the reason for that is, I believe, is that most folks who drive Lincolns are very conservative people, and as a result, the engine doesn't get exercised. And to that end, the Cadillac Northstar had sticky rings, oil rings problems as well, because there's 300 horsepower, and the people that bought those cars, they just drive real slowly, and as a result, you got all that power, but you never unleash it. And when I say unleash, in the automotive world, there's such a thing as WOT, and that stands for wide open throttle. Now, rarely, and I'm sure that you're the same way, rarely would you wide open throttle your car, because really there's no place to do that safely except on a racetrack. Now, having said that, what I do, because I know that's good for your engine, by the way, when you open the throttle wide open, to RPM it, to let it shift out of first into second gear on its own, it is on an on-ramp as you're accelerating from, say, 15, 20 miles per hour up to the 70 miles per hour of the interstate that you're going to get on. Having said that, you have to make sure there's nothing in front of you, obviously, and you're merging. But that's indeed when you need the power, and that's a great time to exercise the engine. Most people don't do that, but I do it on a regular basis. At least, I'm going to say, if I hit the interstate three times a week, 2 out of the 3 times I'm going to do that if my coast is clear, and that means if there's no one in front of me. So, right. So with your vehicle, number one, the propensity to use oil is a challenge with that engine, and you can, by exercising it, you can slow that down. Now, when you go and upgrade to synthetic, and I use Royal Purple Synthetic, and I recommend it, your choice, but when I put Royal Purple Synthetic in cars that have old age and high miles, I have yet to have any problems with any of those automobiles. Fact is, I've gotten better results. When I say better, I've gotten more powerful feedback from my customers who used synthetic oils over conventional oils in their older cars. Why? Because the old engines were not as well tuned. The tolerances weren't as close as today's engines. So and there's more friction because of the technology, the metallurgy, the whole design. So I would have no reservations recommending that you, with that car with 126,000 miles on it, upgrade to synthetic oil. Now, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend that you short change the first batch. And by that, I'm saying that when you upgrade to synthetic oil and you use the same viscosity that you're using now, which I assume is 1030, or whatever the manufacturer calls for, because the synthetic or conventional, you still use same viscosity, and you still use same viscosity year round. That's another little point for you and our listeners to know. Now, having said that, when you upgrade to synthetic, then you'll want to drive 2,500 to 3,000 miles on that oil change, because synthetic oil runs cleaner and it will help to clean out the engine, and it will not cause an oil leak that's not already there. So I just want you to know that. So that's not a problem. So that's what I'd recommend. And then you could afterwards go, how many miles you drive a year, Jerry?
Oh, here lately, not very many, maybe 10,000.
Well, I would go, you can easily go 7,500 miles on an oil change. And if you'll look at royalpurple.com, you'll see that they have an annual pledge. It's 12,000 miles or annually changing the oil and filter in your vehicle if you use their product. So I would have no issues there after the first batch, because we want the first batch. We know the first batch of this Royal Purple synthetic oil is going to clean out some passageways and clean out lifter galleys and lifters and other parts of your engine. So we know that we want to short change that first batch. So upgrade, change it at 3,000 miles, and then thereafter you can go a year. You can go annually on your oil change, and then that offsets the extra cost of the synthetic oil. Hey, a great question. Thanks for your call. I'll come back and take your questions at 888 Car Clinic. Don't touch that dial. You have places to go, people to see, and things to do 365 days a year. And there's one tire that will get you there, no matter the adventure. General Tire's new Altimax RT43, the all-season tire designed for a quiet, comfortable ride that includes industry-leading Smart View technologies. Let General Tire give you the reliability, performance, and traction you demand. For more information, visit GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. I'm Bobby Likis with today's Drive Smarter tip, brought to you by Escort, the world's best radar and laser detectors. The 3-second rule. No, not about food that drops on the floor, but rather a safe driving tip. Choose a fixed point that's even with a car in front of you. If you reach that same point before counting to 3, you're driving too close and need to fall back. Visit EscortRadar.com to learn about the all-new Passport and Passport Max 2, both featuring built-in Bluetooth connectivity. Don't just drive smarter. Escort.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Bob, what's new? Last night I get in my truck, and in the back seat is one of those supermodels. Says she always wanted to meet a man who owned a sauerkraut factory. We're eating sauerkraut. She's wiping juice off my chin. I get heartburn. I pull out my Rolaids, and in under 10 seconds, it starts working. Then she's gone, and so's my heartburn.
Rolade starts working in under 10 seconds? You expect me to believe that?
It's true. Rolade starts neutralizing acid in under 10 seconds. ROLAIDS spells relief. Use as directed.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Now, I'm not a financial wizard or anything, so when I needed a mortgage, I went to LendingTree. I filled out one simple form, banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. Maybe I am a wizard after all.
Visit LendingTree.com or call 1-800-555-TREE. That's 1-800-555-TREE. When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com. Equal housing opportunity. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at LendingTree.com.
And now for the bonus round. If Rome wasn't built in a day, how long did it take?
3 business days. Oh, plus 1 Saturday.
Correct. Oh. A good man is hard to find. Why?
Because he's so small.
Correct. Netflix delivers movies by mail, and now what other way?
Directly to your TV.
Correct! Netflix now delivers movies 2 ways, instantly to your TV, plus DVDs by mail. Watch as many TV episodes and movies as you want for only $9 a month. Netflix! See terms of use.
Some original thinking by Starbucks barista Bob Glenn.
My idea of a Starbucks experience is the sense of community. I love people, and what working at Starbucks has allowed me to do is get involved in people's lives more directly. What I think is so great about Starbucks coffee being available in the grocery store now is that Starbucks selects the coffee, roasts the coffee, packages the coffee to enjoy it, and not just to enjoy it necessarily by yourself, but really to enjoy it with other people.
Your favorite Starbucks coffee. At grocery, at home, at last.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Happy Valentine. I hope that today is a fun day for you. Make it a fun day. And again, hats off to our folks, WNDB in Daytona, with the Daytona International Speedway, with the ARCA race going on later this afternoon, and a lot of racing going on for the weekend and for the next month or so. It's Speed Weeks there in Daytona. And I want to reach back over to Clay Center, Kansas, KFRM 550 AM. Kyle Bauer, General Manager, and Angie Komar, Program Director there for Car Clinic affiliate KFRM 550 AM in Clay Center, Kansas. If that's your neck of the woods, let us hear from you. Miss Kim will take your call. And what a nice lady she is. She's a very gentle person, and really it's just an asset. Thank you very much, Miss Kim. You do a great job. Everyone, the control room is filled right now. We have a couple of trainees. We have absolutely Christiana is pulling the trigger and putting the keys, and she'll put you on the air when you call. Actually, she does the volume controls as well as mine. So 888 Car Clinic is the number for you to call. I've got some information that I want to share with you. 888-227-2546, and also Jimmy and Ted and Kevin. So we've got a house full. I'm glad I'm in the studio. I've got all the room, and you guys have all elbows to elbows in there.
Yeah, it's getting a little hot in here, Bobby.
I hear you. Okay, let's talk about gas prices. And let me share this with you, and we'll take your calls at 888 Car Clinic. Miss Kim will. But in the meantime, gas prices for the 13th week in a row are lower than they were same time last year. Now, having said that, 3 weeks ago, I mentioned that we were at a tipping point because 2 of the 8-10 regions of the entire United States, the price had popped back up a bit. Now, without exception, this is same time last week. So the gas prices this week versus last week are all higher than they were without exception throughout the United States. Now, same time last year, they're still lower, but they're higher. And to that end, let's see, we're looking at 12, 14, 15 cents higher in 1 week? Really? On the West Coast. Well, there you go. Of course, the West Coast is still enjoying low fuel prices at $2.47. The national average, $2.19, and that's as of this week. That's the weekly U.S. retail gasoline prices, regular grade, dollars per gallon, and that includes state taxes as well. And for those of you not familiar with state taxes, I don't have the latest figure, but California and New York vie for who's first, and the taxes run some 62 cents a gallon. So there you go. If you live there, you're going to pay to drive one way or the other. Okay, Kiplinger recently announced its 2015 annual Deals on Wheels, and I want to share with you some top picks. And what they really did a great job here. You can go to kiplinger.com/links/cars if you want to, or just Google the top picks of the 2015 annual Deals on Wheels. So for cars under $20,000, the best new redesigned car is the Honda Fit. The best in class is a Mazda 3. That's under 20 grand. From 20 to 25,000, the best new redesigned car is the VW Golf TDI. And the TDI, the turbo diesel, is a phenomenal success. Make no mistake about it. There have been some issues with coking and carbon. I think that, too, speaks to the typical soot and the particulate matter that diesels create. So if you're driving a diesel vehicle, leg it out from time to time. The engines like to be exercised, and that's especially true for the diesel engines. The 20 to 25 category, the best in class, Ford Fusion. That surprised me. Now let's bump it up, $25,000 to $30,000. The Subaru Legacy is the best new redesigned car. The best in class, VW Passat TDI. Wow, that's two of those. The 20 to 25 and the 25 to 30. The VW took the best in class and the best redesigned car. Let's jump up to 30 to 40. The Toyota Camry V6 and the Honda Accord V6. Best new redesigned car with the Toyota and a best-in-class Honda V6. And then all the way up, and I think this is significant, if we look at the $50,000 and over, the best-in-class is a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. I would say that not many would argue with that. But here's something that I think is very interesting, and this is according to Kiplinger. The $50,000 and over best new redesigned car was a Hyundai Genesis. And if you'll remember, when Hyundai first came out with the Genesis, it was a $32,000 entry luxury car. And at $32,000, it was palatable. Now, let's compare the Genesis at $32,000 when it was first brought out for sale to a K900 Kia, which is $60,000. And if you get a package on the Kia, I drove one, by the way, and really liked it. I really liked it. There were some flaws on the body that I pointed out, but the electronics and the power and the transmission control were all over the top. I kept the car a week, and it was a K900, and I would recommend that you take a ride in one of those cars. Now, having said that, that's a $66,000 automobile. Well, and that's the first luxury Kia to come out. The reason I bring this up is I'm comparing when Hyundai came out with the Genesis, it was $32,000. When Kia came out with their luxury car, I started to say Genesis, but it's a K900, it's $60,000. I think, and ironically, Hyundai owns 48% of Kia anyway. I find it ironic that the company, the corporate, didn't use the same tact. That when they decided they were going to build a luxury Kia, maybe they should have started in the $35,000, $38,000, somewhere south of $40,000 range, and then over time bump that up. Because I'm not sure that car, and I know that car's not selling as well as it could. Now, go back to the Hyundai Genesis sedan. Here's a car that now is $50,000 and over, and it is the best new redesigned car, according to Kiplinger. So it's very, very interesting. There's more information there that I'll share with you. I'll take your calls at 888 Car Clinic, Miss Kim will, and put you in the queue, and I will put you on the air. 888-227-2546. I do have some information here that I want to share that I think is really kind of cool. We talk about the younger age and not really into automobiles. And I've made the statement, because I found this data, I've made the statement that 50% of all 19-year-olds do not have driver's license. And in the older era, that just would not happen, because if you're 16, when you're 15 and a half, you want that learner's permit, you want to, which means you have to ride with someone, and you're chomping at the bit to get a driver's license. Well, there's a new study out, and this is from the National Oil and Lube News, and I'm a subscriber. It says, love is in the air this Valentine's Day. That's the reason I chose this, folks, because it's Valentine's. It said, love is in the air this Valentine's Day, and not between who you might think. Nearly a third of millennials surveyed say they have a love affair with their vehicle, according to a new research from autotrader.com. I find this really interesting because this goes against what we all have been hearing. The recent survey also revealed men are significantly more likely than women to have these passionate feelings about their vehicles, with 27% of men describing their relationship as a love affair compared to only 18% of women. And they go on to say Isabel Helms, who is the Vice President of Research and Market Intelligence for Cox Automotive, said Americans spend a great deal of time in their cars. They're literally the vehicle that enable our lives. It makes sense that many people would feel a strong bond toward their car and cherish that relationship, end quote. And I find that also true. That as I talk to a younger generation, that they're starting to like automobiles even more so. Why? I would say your guess is as good as mine, but I think I know why. I think that it's because of the technology that is involved in the making of a car today, and I think it's the fact that the center stack, it's called, where you have telematics. You have instant connection. If you have a check engine light on, if you drive an OnStar, you know this, of course, other cars as well. But if you drive a GM vehicle with OnStar, you can literally not only get directions and all the things that, and if you have an emergency, you get help, and also you can offer others help as well. Which is, I think, really neat for OnStar. They allow that, and so if you happen to be driving and you see an accident, and it's not a GM car, and you need help, you can actually use the OnStar emergency in your GM car to get help, and that's really important. It's important because, for instance, in some cities, if you have a wreck at, say, Garden and Palafox, which happens to be the north and south divider for my hometown, if you have an accident there, it might be that the northeast corner is in one county and the northwest corner is in another county, and the southeast and the southwest are in yet another. I mean, it's possible. There are certain states, certain counties that come together in definitive places. Now, that's not true for my city, but having said that, if you have a wreck in that corner, who do you call? Who does OnStar notify? Do they notify a county A, B, C, or D? And that's one of the largest hurdles that OnStar had to overcome in their database, was knowing the right first responders to call in an emergency situation. So getting back to the millennials and why I think that they love cars is because our cars are so technically advanced. Our phones will hook to them, hands-free dialing, navigation systems, CD, play track one, and I could go on and on and on, but it really is fun to drive a car. Now, it also can be not so fun if the car doesn't listen to you and hear what you're saying and understand what you're saying. And sometimes that's true. But anyway, the National Oil and Lube News sent to me this report about the love affair. So happy Valentine's to all the millennials that care for their cars. Take a call from John. John, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding.
Hi, thanks for calling.
You're welcome.
Taking my call.
You're
did they tell you what I was calling about? Really, kind of, I guess you know a little bit.
Well, we have enough time, so how can I help you?
Well, I have three vehicles. I have a Ford van, an 04 Mustang, which is my main concern, kind of, and a 96 Pontiac Firebird. Backwards, the Firebird has barely turned 82,000 miles.
Okay.
So it doesn't get driven. The Mustang doesn't get driven. The Firebird, I already changed it to Royal Purple because it just doesn't get driven very much, and it had a lot of sludge. I had to have the intake gaskets replaced, and when they did that, they found out there was a lot of sludge in there.
Right.
So I thought, well, just on my own, I didn't even think about it. I figured, well, I'll switch it to Royal Purple because you don't have to change it as often. So I was thinking about the same thing to the Mustang, and in the van, because I do drive the van a lot, the van has 340,000 miles on it. And it's a 306 cylinder, and it's still going pretty good. I just take care of it. But Then I was thinking about doing the oil change to the Royal Purple with the Mustang, and my mechanic, so to speak, and he is a mechanic, and he's really good. He says, no, the Ford Mustangs, they really like the Motorcraft motor oil. So I was like, well, darn it, man, I don't know what to do now.
John, let me share this with you. Motorcraft doesn't make motor oil. See, this is where my industry and technicians, even good technicians, don't look at their facts. Motorcraft is a brand. They do not make oil. They buy that oil. It could be Valvoline, it could be Castrol, it could be Mobil 1, it could be Shell. See, Motorcraft is a brand. There are no Motorcraft refineries.
I got you.
So you can tell your technician, and if he's listening, and for all you technicians, check your facts. It's like saying that I'm gonna buy a dealer original equipment fuel pump for my General Motors car, but my shop wants to put a Delphi unit, and Delphi made the pump that GM put in the car at the factory. So these are, for me, it's really interesting, and I get excited because I love facts. I'm a white paper kind of guy. I love white papers, a Society of Automotive Engineers, Renewable Fuels Associations, which is the ethanol industry. I'm a very fact finder individual, and I'm also open to correction and learn. I learn, and I'll share this with you. It is you who take care of your engines, plural, that make the difference between whether or not they will perform well, regardless of what oil you use. Would I recommend Royal Purple in all of them? Yes. I'm not going to recommend that you run the Royal Purple for a year in that car that has the sludge in it. It needs to be driven more. Of course, you know that. Cars like to be driven. They don't like not to be driven. So I would drive that car more. And if you heard me talking earlier, you should shortchange the first batch of synthetic oil, say 3,000 miles or 3 months on your car. Folks, that's all the time we have for this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Another great hour coming up. I'll see you on the other side.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
I'm Bobby Likis with today's Drive Smarter tip, brought to you by Escort, the world's best radar and laser detectors. Running red lights is the cause of more injuries than any other crash type. Protect yourself from those red light runners by looking to the left, then to the right, and then for turning vehicles before you enter traffic light controlled intersections. Visit EscortRadar.com to learn about the all-new Passport and Passport Max 2, both featuring built-in Bluetooth connectivity. Don't just drive smarter. Escort. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. American ethanol producers are fully engaged in the race to the next generation. Since the ethanol molecule is identical across sourcing types, many existing ethanol biorefineries are exploring bolt-on technologies that will enable production of ethanol from both grain starch and cellulosic material at the same facility. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
What's the most amazing thing that's happened in our age? The Berlin Wall coming down? No. Genome Project? Hardly. How about that little pill that's given your grandfather the drive of a 14-year-old? Not even close. The most remarkable advancement may be the technology that allows you to effortlessly plan and book your own travel. It's Travelocity and allows you to beat the travel system. Their product, called Dream Maps, shows you every destination available to you for the amount of money you have. Calendar-based shopping allows you to find that elusive low fare and tells you the date it's available. Travelocity puts more than 700 airlines, over 50 rental car companies, 5,000 vacation and cruise getaways, and in excess of 50,000 hotels at your fingertips. It allows you to go places you never knew existed, to discover places you absolutely would not have discovered before. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.